Alright, some final support for set 10 of Divines with a mini Impauldio along with some Fortia support. So let's begin. So first off, we start off with Stepping Up Together Lock Team, which is a grade 1 wiki power with the Friends ability, which if you guys don't remember, Friends means that if one of them has the Friends ability and you have another card in the same column as it, both unit becomes Friends. That's basically what it is. Two units in the same column, but one of them having the Friend ability at least. But anyway, the main skill is that when this card boosts a rear guard and the boost attack hits while you have 3 other friends, meaning that you must have a full field practically, you may return that unit back to your hand. First off, I don't really like attack hits, and 2, this could actually be a bit hurtful because returning that one card back to your hand means that you got 2 less units in the friend state, and there's better stuff than this anyway. In which we go to Actable Crescent Sonarish, which is a grade 1 wiki power and has the Friends ability, but additionally, if you have 5 or more other friends, all units in the same column as this unit gets plus 5 key power as well, which is of course pretty nice with a total of 10k buff for one column. In which the second skill is auto. When placed on rearguard other than during battle while your Vanguard is a friend, you can counterblast 1. Look at the top 5 cards from your deck for one unit card that is grade less than or equal to your Vanguard. If it's a friend unit card with a different name from this, you can add it to your hand, but if it's not, you call it to rearguard. Regardless, this is actually pretty good for the deck because it's a +1, and of course due to ride line reasons, you can technically use this in the early game for some pressure, and overall it's just pretty decent because Friends is a mechanic that needs rearguards on the whole field, so any cheap plussing and power is always pretty nice. And now to a new generic monster, Magnetic Force Monster Magdinus, which is a grade 2 with 10 power in the skills. Auto when placed on rearguard other than by card ability. If you played a set order this turn, cost Soul Blast 1 of the top 5 cards of your deck to choose up to 1 card that is grade less than or equal to your Vanguard. Call it if it's a unit, but put it to your hand if it's a set order. And of course shuffle your deck. This is already pretty good for pretty much any Brandt Gate deck that utilizes a lot of set orders. So you can go ahead and run this based on what deck you're playing. Especially when a good number of Brandt Gate decks need something to call for field presence. This could be actually quite helpful. With the second skill, auto rearguard when this card attacks at least a grade 3 unit. If your order zone has a set order, plus 5k, but if your Vanguard is a monster, plus 10k instead. I don't see the point of needing that extra monster part for some extra power, but it is kind of nice that you get some extra bonuses for the archetype that it belongs to, even though it already has monster in name, so it doesn't really need anything else. And being a generic that could be played in pretty much any Brandt Gate deck is also a huge plus, especially for a Brandt Gate card that could add units rather than set orders, because those are rare for some reason. And now we go to Mini Impauldio with Via do Heyday, which is a grade 2 and 10 power in the skill list. Count rearguard. If you have a system code Exceed, you get all the following abilities. First one being auto rearguard. When placed, if you have 2 or more auto mod gauges, cost Soul Blast 2 to draw a card. The deck doesn't really use much soul, but in the future soul can be a little heavy, but this is more optional than anything. In which the second skill is auto rearguard. At the end of battle, this unit attacked at least a grade 3 unit while not being boosted, and it's the first battle of the turn. Cost counterblast 1 to stand this unit. Impauldio finally has a 4th attacker. Not exactly what the deck needs, but it is quite nice, especially when Impauldio itself can actually give itself power as well. But if anything, this is more of a tech option than anything because counterblast can still be an issue for the deck. And you also have a lot of good rear guards, so you might be fighting some field space as well. But still overall a pretty decent card, especially for some attack pressure. And finally, here are the secret rares. Surprised that they didn't reveal these sooner, especially with their ride line reveals, but okay. And so that's it for the new support for Friends along with Impauldio. What do you guys think of it? For the Friends stuff, I just like the consistency searcher, especially any extra plus scene is always very nice. But as for the Brandt Gate stuff, generic is actually pretty decent for many Brandt Gate decks. And then for Impauldio, not exactly what I have in mind other than being a restanding rearguard, especially even if it's a loner attacker, it's fine since Impauldio is going to buff off its power. But I do wish that Impauldio support would actually engage with the gauges more, because I feel like the gauges only act as counters and kind of just does nothing after that. But that's just me. Well, than that, that's it for this, and see you all next time.